There we go. Episode 14, blind spots. Again, follow the blind spots. I'm pretty sure it's missing the
It's a
underscore. I know you'll throw it in here.
yeah.
Got an underscore. It's missing the vowels. My name's got all the vowels. Bobby Bronze. His name has all the vowels. Not Patrick Hughes for now. Episode 14. Like I mentioned last week, my birthday was this week. So we're recording this a day after my
Throw
birthday.
some confetti in there.
Yeah, it's cool because when you send it on Apple, like it automatically throws balloons in it. Like you say happy
Yeah.
birthday, it automatically throws balloons. I usually hit people with the fireworks or the confetti, make it a little bit more special, maybe the little loud thing, whatever. But
Don't they got a
yeah,
champagne bottle pop or something like that? Or they got like a. They don't have
I
that.
don't think so. It might have been new. I know the iOS just changed, so
I think I'm thinking about the fire shit that they got.
fireworks because
Yeah.
literally because it pops. Yeah, I was normally going to work because I had to work. Normally, my regular day off is today on Wednesday, but I took the day off just because people were going to bother me about not taking the day off. Like, hey, why are you still working? So I took it off. Day was fine for me. I went and did some shit with my little brother. He's going to school, um, for dental school in Connecticut, and he
Oh, fire.
leaves Thursday. So I was supposed to be with him Saturday. All the siblings are getting together. I have 5 younger brothers and a few older siblings. We were going to get all together. I couldn't make it Saturday because I was in a family reunion. I had this packed week. This family
Yeah.
reunion was for Alex's mom's side. We drove to Jupiter, Florida. So like 3.5 hours. A lot of driving, but cool to be around those people.
Right.
That was Saturday. Then obviously, like I said, Tuesday. Then today was really the day that I was doing shit. Like Tuesday, I went to the gun range and I just was taking advantage of like all the free shit that you can get.
Amazing.
So that's always good. And then today, I did the chiropractor, which is fun. That's fun for me. That's grown up fun. And then on the way back, well, before, because Xavier, shout out to Xavier, and shout out to Tierra Latina. If you want some authentic Hispanic food, it's on the corner of fucking Nebraska and I forget what the street is, but you can't miss it. Big yellow fucking sign.
Head north on Nebraska.
Kind of a weird parking lot, but who gives a fuck?
Right.
Just slide.
Bush, between Bush and like Fowler, you can't miss it. It's on the left-hand side.
It's if you're traveling north, definitely on the left. So he messages me like everybody does. It says happy birthday, and he's like, lunch on me. But he's always says that. He's always very gracious. Now that doesn't mean you guys that he's going to pay for your lunch. It just means he paid for my lunch. So he tells me to come in. I see another guy that I knew. I knew him before him, and that's actually his goddad. And we were just kind of all talking about how you know each other. And he made me this breakfast sandwich that he gets every morning. It was phenomenal. I appreciate him. Oh, and I had a banana soda. Yeah.
It was like Fanta, or
it was some random brand. It was a Hispanic soda. So one of my favorite things to do is when you go into these like more ethnic stores, there's always some shit in there that's like exclusive to them. So it's like for that culture, it's everything. And for us, it's nothing.
Right.
Like I had a Dominican homie come by and he had collard greens once. And he was like, yo, this is the best thing ever. And I was like, yeah, this is like kind of a thing for us. Like, you know, we like this is just for whatever. He's like, how often do y'all do this? Like, how often do you want it? Like, I guess, you know, that's about it. And you got
if mom makes a big pot on Sunday, then that's what we eat for the rest of the week. Like,
that and cornbread together is a meal. Where's the protein? It's in there.
It's enough. It's in there.
So he gives me a banana soda with it. I'm like, this looks interesting. I want to try this. He's like, and then the lady behind the counter, she's like, there's another version that is better to me. And he's like, oh, I got you, bro. I'm gonna go get it. And so he leaves around the corner, brings me back in. So I leave with two sodas. I'm in the car trying. I'm in the car double fisting sodas, and I'm like, "Yo, this is great."
Happy Pride, double fisting banana pops.
Yeah, there it is. And they were delicious. So if you ever see a banana soda out, it sounds odd because I'm like, who the fuck would think to put banana with a soda? But it's absolutely amazing. Shout out to him. And then I finished tonight. I had dinner at this place called Haven. If you're in the city in Tampa, you probably are familiar with Burns.
Okay,
Burns had a restaurant called Sideburns,
that's
and
hilarious.
they turned into Haven. And so Haven is in South Tampa. It was really good. I had short ribs, Korean inspired, really good. Um, yeah, so that was pretty much my week, and I turned 30. So a lot of people asking me how I feel.
How
So
I mean, the obligatory question: how do you feel? I always have a to me, I feel like every 5 years, I like shake up the room. Like I do some wild shit. Like I always have the urge to just be like this. For my 30th, I was like, man, fuck this job. I'm gonna quit. So that's what I did. So but 5 years before that, I was like, man, I was living with my parents at the time, and I was like, man, fuck this house. I'm finna move. So like every 5 years, I just up and do some shit. Um, but I was wondering, did you have similar feelings about the age of 30? Was there anything that you were like anxious about or like jittery about turning 30 at all?
you know, it's funny that you mentioned that because, and this is not even on the rundown, guys, but so I personally like to just like be in the moment. Like that's the biggest thing. Like everybody does their like New Year's resolution. Mine for this year, and I don't really like them, but it was something I wanted to be was more present. So I spent probably the last month or so thinking about 30 and not like my fear of 30, but like I started thinking about like what is like 30 is looked at as like this mature age and people think everything is downhill and like based on like life expectancy this is kind of middle aged to be fair even though it doesn't feel like it's middle aged. And so I was thinking of like the theme of the last month or so has been like what is appropriate and what is like maturity. And so I was watching Dormtainment and
Hmm.
they're older than us. They're like 34, 35. And they were like having like they were like making like titty jokes, like jokes about titties, jokes about dicks. And I was like, man, somebody would look at this and be like, this is not appropriate, right? Or not, this is not like you shouldn't be acting like this. Like you need to grow up, right? Also, at the same time, I saw a video of Jay-Z watching his wife perform, and he just went straight. He went full ghetto. Like he's holding a bottle of champagne. He's jumping up and down. He's holding it. You could clearly see. And I'm like, well, somebody would probably look at him and be like, okay, you're too old. Diddy has this video act bad. He's in his room.
Right. I was just
He's
thinking about that. I was just
he's
thinking about
butt
that.
naked and he's going crazy, getting he's drunk and everything. And I'm like, man, this guy's in the mid 50s. Like he's too old to be doing shit like that. And so I thought about that, and I'm like, all right, there's a lot of things that we deem as like what's mature, but like, there's no way you could tell like these two billionaire guys like they're not mature. Like obviously there's like time and place, but like it just made me start to think like all this shit was made up, and we could probably go reach back to white supremacy somehow, just like respectability politics. And my dad used to tell me like you need to pull your pants up and put a belt on and shit like that.
My
And
boy.
like I do it, like I was obviously I do it, but then I'm like, man, that never got me any further than wherever I was just because I had my belt. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I've got criticized or maybe you know looked at weird in department stores because I go in dressed how I'm dressed, but like I know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm trying to go get size for a suit and I want to get tailored. It just appears different. You know what I'm saying? And I was in always really high level classes, but then I lived in certain areas of Tampa. So like I could kind of navigate these different rooms. And it just made me think, man, all this shit is bullshit. None of it means anything. And maturity, like you can't tell me I'm not mature. I paid for a car loan. I have a mortgage. And you know what? I might make a crude joke. I saw Drea on her Instagram. She was wearing a bikini.
What was the stat line?
It wasn't anything. What did she?
What-
Joker numbers. Joker numbers. MVP, a cornerstone. We are building the franchise around her. Absolutely, 1000%. Like, don't get it twisted. But she was with her. She was with her kid, and so like her bikini, some may say, is like not appropriate to be around kids.
Get out of here.
And it was a conversation that was going on Twitter, and you might have saw it, but it was like a dude like
Hilarious.
he smacked his lady's butt, and then the baby did it, and they were like, and he was like, "Don't do that," and the people in the comments were like, "Well, if you don't want the baby to smack the butt, you don't smack the lady's butt." But then they always say like you gotta show like these positive interactions between the two parents to let them know what that looks like. And there's a movie called Elemental coming out, and then it was like a scene where the dad pulls the mom down and kisses her all over, and the kids at the table is like and it's like you kind of want to show them that, and like at what point is it too far? Like you want them to know what
Yeah.
this positive interaction between like two parents, especially like two black parents specifically, because of how they stigmatized the black families and there's no nuclear families and all this bullshit. It's like this is not true at all. Like I grew up with two parents. My wife grew up with two parents. You know what I'm saying? You've got your two parents that have been together for a long time. And it's like, man, this is important. But then some people will tell you that's too far. It's like, then what is too far? And then I'm like, once again, all this shit was made up. All this shit means nothing. Then I'm starting to think like, oh, well, I love streetwear. Does streetwear die at 30? Like, do I just wear pants that are trousers now? I've been wearing a lot of issy lately. Like, is that where my life goes? And I'm like, but I still like ripped up jeans, and I just bought a couple varsity jackets. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, we're still doing streetwear.
King of Bars is my guy. That's and you know I don't I it's strange to me because I usually just look at cool people, and I really don't think he's as cool as somebody that should be like a fashion person to look after. But he's a really well dressed man.
You be putting that shit on.
He's a really well dressed guy. So
Yeah.
I
And he's
mean,
not afraid either. I've seen him wear
he's
some
not.
print,
He's not
and I'm
at
like,
all.
I don't know, but you did it, so good for you.
Hey, you know, everything else aside, the man can dress.
Yeah.
The man, and he's I think he's 50 something, and that's exactly what I'm trying my best to not enter that phase now and just stay here with my white tees and my ripped jeans
Until
and
you get there.
enjoy. Yeah, because it's like, okay, cool. You know what? I could buy a jump. I had my own a few jumpsuits, and I would wear them. So I'm like, let me not do it too much. Like, you know what I'm saying? One or two, but let me not just like the ALD shit. It's literally, it's like I gotta chill out. Chill out because it's elevated polo, but it just makes you look like a middle-aged white guy. But when they be in ALD, they be fly. So it's like, I don't know, man.
That whole area of Little Italy, like Soho area,
Yeah.
that whole strip, Mulberry Street, it's literally like a walking ALD lookbook. I swear. I walked and I saw the people and I'm like, you know what? Amy's close. Ironically enough, my friend who lives there, he didn't know about Amy, and I saw a guy literally wearing like this hat. Ironically
Amazing.
enough, I had him sitting right there, but he was wearing this hat, and he's like, "Man, I never gave a fuck about this brand, but now that you mentioned it to me, I literally see it everywhere." And I'm
Everywhere.
like, either that or Kith. And so you're moving in that direction. Like that's where they're trying to move us. But then again, you look at Teddy and you look at Ronnie, and they still dress how they do it from time to time, but they still dress how they dress. And so
Yeah.
then all these things have been going literally in my brain for the last 8 weeks.
That's
I'm
hilarious.
like, you know what? Once again, none of this shit means anything. I guess I'm still good, and I wasn't like worried. This was more tongue in cheek because
Right.
I still march to the beat of my own drum, anyways. But like, so there are some people that go through these real tough times where like, man, I guess I gotta put childish shit to the side, and then I'm like, so what is childish? I got a mortgage. You can't tell me that I'm childish. Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
like I pay for all this shit. So if I want to run around naked in this bitch and jump on the tables and pop champagne, that's what I'm gonna do. Like it's just that simple. If I don't, then I won't. But all those things that are like, people put on labels and call stuff immature. It would be immature if you were late on your payments and like shit, you know what I'm saying, shit like that.
In your car repossessed.
Yeah, you're not taking care of your responsibilities as immature. But if everything's taken care of, I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, 30 is actually, if you think about it, 30 is closer to midlife. Like that is
Yeah.
so at this point, if it's so downhill, I'm about to run it up. I'm about to have some fun because if I only got half my time left, I best make the most of this half. The first half was cool, but it was foundational. Now this back half, we're gonna have some fun.
Forgot who said it, but somebody put it into the context of your years left of how many summers you have.
That
And
shit, I don't like thinking about that.
that fucked me up.
That I don't like thinking about.
That I was like because my dad he'll be like he said the same shit. My dad's like over his 50s, and he was like, you know, I wish that I would have stopped thinking about certain things when I was younger, and I would have did more. And so now like, he's trying to like backload it, and he did a little bit, but he's backloading. And then I'm thinking, oh, he got like 25 summers, man.
Yeah. No, that's where it goes. Exactly where it goes. Exactly where it goes. I like immediately stop thinking about me and just think about my parents. And I'm like, oh no. So I'm just like, nope, we're not doing it.
So then I feel guilty. I'm like, oh, we could do this cruise. You want to get on the Emirates flight? Let's go on this Emirates flight. Have to go into debt, doing all this dumb shit. Because you think of it like that. And so, like, man, if you spend one summer complaining about all the shit that you shouldn't be doing as an adult,
Real
bro,
shit.
you ain't got that many summers left out this bitch.
Real shit.
And you gonna complain about how hot it is? Go switch the weather, man. Chicago is beautiful right now. It's,
And
it's beautiful.
go change the
Dog,
weather.
I literally got off the plane last year. My brother, that's going to dental school, he graduated from at with his BA or his BS rather, uh, in Cleveland,
Uh,
Ohio, and I flew there for the day, like on some in and out shit. I got off the plane early, like 8 o'clock in the morning. His graduation might have been at 10, and it was like 65 degrees, like slight breeze, all sun.
real
I'm
smooth.
like, I'm like, oh,
This is perfect.
like, I'm about to be a reverse snowbird. I need a crib in Chicago ASAP. Like it's nuts, and Chicago's beautiful. Don't let them niggas tell you that. Don't be afraid of your own people. Trust me. If you treat the city with respect, the city will, for the most part, people ain't really trying to fuck with you for real, unless you just in the wrong place and you look like a mark. Just don't look like a mark. Don't have your fanny pack and don't be like staring at shit like that. Like you look like a mark, right? And but still, like you know where you need to be at what times.
Get there.
Yeah. Don't be chilling in the South Side at 1 o'clock in the morning unless you
It's
know somebody out there.
but the thing is, it's like basic tourism. You know,
That's everywhere though.
you're not home, so don't be on guard wherever you at. If you're not at home,
Why
be
are
on
you,
guard.
why are you in the trenches at 1? The food's not that good to go to the trenches at 1. It's just not.
You never know, man. He might be on the juicy Smoyer pack. It might be a fire ass subway out there.
And that's another. And now that I think about it, because we look in hindsight, this nigga got beat up by where was Mad Lights at. And like I know, like I've been in Chicago a couple of times now. Chicago's beautiful, so I'm trying to figure out where it could have happened to him at for real, for real. And he probably was in like River North. You know what I'm saying? He was probably he was downtown. Like that shit don't happen over there. It doesn't. It's beautiful there. Niggas talk about Chicago and be scared, talk about Chirac. I'm like, you niggas are tripping. And the house prices are pretty affordable out there. You know, just
Hey,
saying.
well, that talking down on the shit might be working in that regard.
And I love places with public transportation. I'm a sucker for it. That was a good, but that's my thoughts on 30. Uh, Not nearly as what would the word be? Impulsive. Uh,
My shit is bad.
but I ran in the morning. I bust my brother's
uh,
ass in basketball in the evening, and yeah. So
I,
I'm gonna
hey,
keep putting that shit on, guys. I'm still gonna travel, and I'm still gonna make crude jokes.
I'm the immature one of the blind spots crew. If you can't tell, nigga, I'd be fucking, I'd be doing all type of shit. I'd be like, let me think. I don't like this. Do that. And then it'll cause a cataclysm of other shit to go left. And I'd be like, oh, should have thought that one through. Whoops. But on the note of, you said something that I wanted to talk about, actually. And it's kind of, I was going to tie it into just basically what I did this week, because my week was kind of uneventful. I had a conversation with my sister about a Christian podcast I listen to. I reposted this, I reshared this story. I reshared a post on my story of a Christian rapper who has a podcast. He's from St. Pete, actually.
Nice.
It's called the Southside Rabbi. And he was talking about basically like Christians over policing of just anything. But it's like Christians trying to find the line and flirting with the line as opposed to just staying away from it altogether. But what we do is we'll try to figure out where the line is. And then once we come up with it in our head that this is the line, then we police everybody else about it, as opposed to just like, I don't know the specific scripture, but it says work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So instead of working out your own salvation with fear and trembling, you've now made rules and regulations for everybody else because
Yeah.
certain lines you can't cross. When in reality, all of us should probably just be staying away from the line. It's kind of like a keep the Sabbath holy situation to where God doesn't explicitly say what day is the Sabbath. You understand what I'm saying? Like we know, Sunday, Monday, whatever. Saturday, some people do Saturday, some people do Sunday. But at the end of the day, like you said, they're just like somebody just made it up. Like there's no like actual, you wake up with amnesia and you think there's the reason why sometimes you think Wednesday is actually Thursday, or why you think Thursday is Friday. So it's very easy to mix up. We do it all the time, which means it's also very easy to make up. Somebody made it up. It's not real. So all I had to say, I tweeted it out yesterday, but it's like I have to remind myself that I love Black people.
Of course, I did see the tweet.
When they do things that don't make sense to me or that are like aren't beneficial. When we play into when we do the respectability things, when we play into like white supremacy, when we play into all these things. I'm a Christian. My sister's a Christian. I don't really buy into the thought process of Christianity as a white man's religion, but I do understand how it becomes that, and I do understand why. It would be asinine for me to negate slavery. All of the exploits of Christianity, all of the things, all the people that have died in the name of Christ, like whether or not that was correctly or not, but all those like imperial exploits and everything like that, blah, 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 it would be wrong for me to deny all that stuff. All that being said, I think you have to look at it from a holistic perspective, blah, 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 blah. But the point that the gentleman was making on his podcast, he said something about we talk about the substances that people put in their bodies. Like he talked about weed. He talked about something people may drink, and then he said, "What's different between that and coffee?" Because coffee has a mind-altering element as well.
Yeah.
Now, my sister took, I guess, umbrage to that. Like I would assume a lot of Christians would take umbrage to a claim like that, because you're not necessarily. There's a difference between. Her point was there's a difference between cocaine and coffee. There is.
Yeah.
But I think
Why is that?
So if we look at things from like super and supernatural, not supernatural. If you look at things from like the most basic standpoint of everything, weed is a plant, cocaine is a plant, like coke, it's a
Yeah,
coffee
all
is a
comes from the
bean.
earth. Yeah,
So it's all things that are already been set here. That the Bible also says all things are like you are able to do all things, but they're not all like for you. All is lawful, but it's not all expedient. Like it's not, you don't have to do it all, but it's here if you want it. So with that being said, I would assume, to me, what all of that stuff means is that you have to rely on your own convictions. That's what the scripture work out your
yeah,
own, salvation with fear and trembling means. You need to talk to your relationship with God has to be strong enough so okay, it says be of sober mind. It says do not get drunk on wine. So if we believe in the Bible, then we believe that these words mean things. So when it says do not be drunk on wine, that doesn't mean don't drink wine. It would just say don't
just
drink.
don't overindulge.
Drunk. Don't overindulge. So that is the key in all of these things. That's the key with gluttony. That's the key. That's the key with all of it.
Everything in
It's
moderation. That's something I say all the time.
that's the whole point, and that is what. And when to bring it back to what we're talking about, you were talking about earlier. That is the maturity process of it. When you're an immature person, that's when all these things come into play. And of course, there are some outside factors that could apply to that. Not saying that if you fall to any of these vices that you are inherently immature or anything like that. We know stuff happens, but yeah, it's just a very strange. It's a very strange predicament for Black Americans to still be pushing like the one-sided, very I guess, and as you can see, I'm talking about a conversation I have with my sister, so I'm trying to mince my words
Be nice.
because
Yeah,
because everybody knows I'm a very harsh Black and white person, but yeah, I just don't understand why we would still give in to these things that we know aren't real. Um,
and what's the thing specifically
what?
that we're giving into exactly?
I feel like it's the white supremacy of it all. I feel like that's just what it is. White
Yeah.
people were the ones making the laws. They were the ones that regulated um everything, essentially. They were the ones that said for a little bit you couldn't even drink alcohol. So for that period of time, whether or not it was a sin in God's eyes, it was a sin because if you drunk it, you were breaking the law of the land. So
You know what's wild about this? So something that was so profound to me. It was fucking Mark Lamont Hill, and it was on the Breakfast Club,
mhm,
and he was trying to explain to Envy and Charlemagne like how we should look at policing different. And I think Envy, his dad was a police or something
yeah,
like
he
that.
just couldn't see it.
He couldn't understand that there's like these things aren't actually the police's job. So we have to reimagine. Granted, it's so ingrained. We have to reimagine how we look at policing because actually we need to rephrase what is actually a law as far as like what's against the law versus like where your morality is set up.
Bingo.
And that was so huge for me because it's like he used a perfect example like weed. Like everybody smokes weed, everybody uses weed, and it's against the law, but like you're still doing it. So like obviously it don't mean shit to you unless you get arrested.
Right.
But once they change the law and the stigma changes on weed, and now we talk about all the holistic properties
Bingo.
and the healing properties,
Bingo.
now it's got better PR. And now it's actually like, oh, this actually helped my grandmother with her joints and her pain tolerance. And, this is probably a little bit better for your body than opioids. And we can put it in different forms so that we're not ingesting the smoke, which actually makes it painful for us. And we can make it a little bit more concentrated, take all the bullshit out of it. And so now this is literally like another drug. And I've taken muscle relaxers for my back and souped up Motrin for my back, and that shit leaves you way more high than anything. And this is light shit. So if your morality is set up a certain way, which would go in turns with a lot of the white supremacy, because these laws were created by them, if we're being a bean, it's
Just
like
honestly,
our we're not even thinking of that. Like if you see a sign that says don't U turn because it's unsafe right there, like there's a reason why. But if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you don't see no police there, and you need to get that way, you finna hit this Yui. Cause it's like, bro, it's nobody there. I'm not putting myself in harm. And that was the big thing he said. Is it causing harm? And that's
Yeah.
what goes along with my whole mantra on like operating in good faith.
Yep.
You shouldn't have to worry about hurting people's feelings or doing the wrong thing if you are leading with good faith. Now you're gonna always hurt somebody. You're always gonna break a rule. You're always gonna make a misstep. But intention is important. And if you're operating in good faith, then you're probably, if you knock somebody over, you're gonna try to help them up
Yeah.
because you personally. That's why we could tell when the flagrant should stand. That motherfucker didn't even try to help him up. Oh, you must have tried to do that shit. If you seen them pretend like they was trying to help somebody up, you probably wouldn't get that flagrant fight. You see Draymond lift his leg on some goofy shit between someone's legs, and then he just
Yeah.
walks out of the direction. It's like, all right, well, maybe you didn't try to do it on purpose, but you obviously weren't trying to not cause harm.
And
And so
that's
once your morality set up that way, it makes it easy.
and that's the thing. I think like Christians need to kind of rewire themselves, and it's not rewire yourselves as to what your convictions are or anything like that, but understand that your convictions are your convictions. They're not for you to set up laws and judge people based on what they choose to engage in. If you only drink wine or a glass or two, that's fine. But even we know that our tolerances are different based on our body weights and our sizes. So is 3 glasses a sin? Like what's too much? If I'm 250 pounds and I don't get loopy until about 6 glasses, then like what are we really talking about? You can't have the same as me. That's not for you to then get upset and then try to put laws on XYZ, because if you have a conviction towards something, that's not for you to do that. If we're worried about the morality, because one of the things that she said to me once I brought up the fact that like all of these things are just plants, and it's not up for us to decide. What she says to me is people aren't going to be able to, I guess, control themselves on a hallucinogen. Which I replied, I think they can, but if they can't, that's cool. That's
Definitely
where
functioning drug addicts.
there so many, and there has to be, because you have to figure out how to do this under like criminalization. So a lot of people engage in these things and still go to work every day and take care of their responsibilities and take care of their family. And when it goes too far, 10, 12 years later is when you figure out, oh damn, dad had a problem. Like, but it really wasn't a problem. It's the problem is that we put laws on things and criminalize people and make people do wild shit to get what they want, as opposed to give it freely with the correct resources so that people can be safe while they indulge in these things. It's the same way that we created laws so people can't drink and drive. It's the same reason why bartenders have certain responsibilities when it comes to, I'm not gonna keep serving this guy. So it's just like that's when it becomes our job as a society to take care of each other. And the way we take care of each other is not by criminalizing somebody's vices. And definitely the way we take care of each other as Christians is not by using our power
The shame.
within the law, the same way white people have done, for centuries. And it's just like it just doesn't make sense as a Black American. It doesn't make sense as a Christian. What we're supposed to do as Christians is give the love of Christ, give the the message of Christ, and allow people to choose Him. We can't legislate the soul. We can't legislate the heart. We can't legislate, flesh. We can't do that. So instead of try to understand why they might want to do that, and then if it's upon you, or if you're led to talk to them about it, and if it's something that is something that they're open with and maybe struggling with, then that is a different conversation. But if it's their fucking birthday, excuse my French, if it's their birthday, and I try not to curse when I talk about God, but if it's their birthday and they want a bump, then let them
Do a little bit.
let them do a bump. Like
And
it was a wedding, and God was like, hey, like the water to wine story is literally a wedding where Mary asked Jesus to do the Jesus thing on the wine. We all out of wine, Jesus, because they was all drinking, throwing them back. And she was like, hey, son, we need some more. And he was like, hey, my ministry don't even start yet. I'm not like, that's not what I do right now. He started his ministry early to give his mama something to drink on. So who are we to then legislate what people can do if God himself started early?
Yeah.
So he could accommodate somebody. Now, that does not mean that you overindulge. That does not mean that you go too far. That is not a pass on, to use these things and to use these things as loopholes to circumvent your convictions and what God has told you to do. If he told you don't drink, then don't drink.
Yeah.
But that's for you and him. That's not for anybody else. That's you and him. So that's why I say I just want Christians to do better. I want people to interrogate these things that we've been given, interrogate them, and then we can decide how we want to, move forward as a society, as a collective. Then, even if not as a society, just govern yourself accordingly, but always interrogate these things that we've just been given. Because
you can tell when niggas don't ask questions.
That's really all it is. It's just like, man, there's so much to unpack. But because then it just moves over to the next thing, and it's like, why does everybody keep trying to fuck Suki Hana on camera? Like, Suki Hana's just doing her job.
Why are people doxing people because
people dox like
too pretty to work at Home Depot? I don't know.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
we'll see. Like,
Twitter is a great place, man. This is a common theme of my life. I just avoid shit that just seems extra. And I see the girl, and I avoid it, and I'm like, I don't care. And then
24 hours later,
and then she's not fired, but she quits, and she has to move, and I'm like, okay, niggas.
She gotta drop out of school, gotta go to a different school. Now they got transferred.
Now I'm disgusted.
And
I'll tell you this.
And you see it. You saw it on your TL and was like, scroll.
Yeah. I'll tell you this: if you're looking for some OnlyFans to subscribe to, just go to that original tweet. Look at the replies. They're like, "Yo, you don't want to do anything? Just send them my way." Link in bio. Send them my way. Link in bio. It's a ton of sex workers right there in the replies. So if you are looking to spend a little dough, even though that shit probably will pop up on Reddit, but pay the paywalls, pay the
paywalls. You can't go to Reddit until you spend, you go until you spend a little cash. Then you can go.
A private message, man. Shout out to them. But yeah, I don't know.
What
niggas always gotta take it too far.
What because I'm trying, like, what I'm saying, I'm trying to be more measured. I actually want to be heard. I want the guys to get it. I don't want to beat up on them more than they already getting beat up. So I try to throw them a bone, right? Not that they need one. They're too busy trying to bury the one they got. But when it comes to this Suki Hana shit, the Home Depot girl shit, it's once again seeming like women don't have agency over their own selves. And it's totally our fault again, because all she did was tweet a picture of herself. Like, the Suki Hana shit is a little bit more complex, but the Home Depot girl is like, you should be able to say, y'all daddies keep coming in here and call it 10. I'm too fine to work in here. What do y'all think? Like,
and she was fine.
And like, it's it's not like the girl was like. And this thing is, all niggas say that shit to ugly girls. So all niggas don't give a shit. And as I'm getting older, my line for attractiveness has definitely swayed from.
You know what? You were talking about functioning drug addicts. I just want to backtrack.
Yeah.
Getting older is realizing that a lot of people are doing cocaine. So if you are worried about whether or not they're functioning addicts, a lot of motherfuckers are doing cocaine. A lot
of them are doing coke.
Or have done coke.
Or have done it.
I've been in places where I've seen it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that's what we was doing here. Carry on.
It's a real thing. But yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like all of this shit changed. I always, man, like, the old heads, and you just be like, dog, like, that's you. That's your that's your queen. And like, and they just throw you off sometimes because you be like, huh? But if you're like, oh, I'm horny, like, yeah, I like what I like, and you just realize that there's no the beauty standard is not all this shit fake. It's not real. You like what you like, and that's it. So whether or not the girl was actually fine or not, they're gonna be men going in there and telling her she's too fine to be pointing me to the nails. You need to be getting nailed.
Yeah.
Now, it should be perfectly okay for her to come on Twitter and say, this is what y'all daddies be talking about. Because it's not, well, you know what? I can't even say that. I just know niggas our age don't be in Home Depot to give women that compliment. We give that same compliment. We just give it in strip clubs type shit. Like, what you doing here? And it's just like, this is actually where I should be for niggas like you. But, yeah, the Home Depot shit is just off because there should never be a reason why somebody, I don't even understand why the doxing occurred. Is it just because she thought she's pretty? It's like, is that really it? Like, what does she do? I know she went on her Jesus Warrior thing and she was talking about what she has to do and don't have to do in comparison to other women, which is
You
a
know what's so funny
whole
too?
nother can of worms to get into. But
It started off as women being mad at other women, and that's when I left it because I knew that's where the bad
it's not
faith
my
actors
business.
were going to come in. And then when doxing occurred and people was being weird, I was like, oh, that was the niggas that
We
arrived.
did that.
Yeah,
That is like
we
that.
that wasn't chicks doing that. We
Yeah. I
I
know
ain't gonna
that's
hold you though.
signature.
I ain't gonna hold you though. And this is just on some righteous ratchet and shit. One time I had I needed to get a battery replaced in my car,
Yeah.
and I went to like one of those auto parts store, and I'm talking to a gentleman behind the counter, and I'm like, all right, well, I need to get a battery for a '97 Avalon, and he gives me these options. He's like, hey, we actually, we'll donate the cell. That'll take a little bit of money off of it, and we'll put it in for you. I'm like, he's like, you want to put it in? I'm like, is it free? Like, yeah, it's free with the purchase. I'm like, oh shit, fuck it. And so I'm thinking he's gonna come around and do it. And it was this short Hispanic lady, beautiful,
It be in there.
gorgeous, and she's coming out with the cart. And maybe there's a little bit of misogyny, but I was like, wait, she's gonna do it. But then I was oddly turned on by it. And she's like, hey, can you go in there and turn the ignition? I was like, yeah, I will.
I
And then it
will.
turned on,
Do that.
and she was like, yeah, we're done. You need any help with anything
Do
else?
that for you.
I'm like, no, this is
I
what time do you get off?
don't think
Like,
people. I really don't think like women realize that like the line between like flirting and all this shit. Like it's a very thin line.
super thin.
Um, and then a lot of times you don't even think like you just say shit. So like not like it gets. I don't know for you. I speak for myself. For me, it gets worse. It got worse when I got like in a committed relationship because I'm like, oh, I can say whatever the fuck. There's no fear anymore. I'm covered.
Yeah.
now I'm
You
thinking,
see?
now I'm thinking of all the shit to say, and it's just like this is the total. Like it's the worst comment, but that's literally the thing that guys have to like try to get over. But unfortunately, guys aren't doing that work. Now whatever reason that is, whether it be, if you feel like we can't admit those things, we can't talk about it, blah, 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 there are no safe spaces. We know that we're also the one taking all the safe spaces from ourselves. So it's a conundrum once again. She posted the damn DM from Shaq. Now it's more fodder for niggas being like, well, look at this almost billionaire. He okay with the girl. He don't want the girl with the education and that. So now it's an ad like, and the girl is in school. Like she works at Home Depot right now while in school. She's not just a girl at home. Like, and even though she was just a girl at Home Depot, whatever. But that's not like. So now niggas is correlating. She works at Home Depot to she doesn't got an education and that, like it's like, what are we doing? Like all she did was say, "Am I too fine to working at Home Depot?" Like that should be okay. We should be able to handle that. And
On the other side,
if the girls are going in, but
now the Suki thing. I just saw the video. Well, not the one on that was a
there's
podcast.
a
I
few
saw
of
that.
them.
I saw the podcast one. I saw Whack Hill Cyrus. today, just like literally 20 minutes ago. Maybe, I guess about an hour ago. Um, I normally just don't really pay that much attention to Suki. I watch Love and Hip Hop from time to time. She's on there. But I felt bad for her. Like I never
Most,
ever would feel
yeah, for sure.
bad for Suki. I felt horrible. I was like, oh my gosh, like
Is it
this is
as
rough.
is it as bad as you feel for the rapper who talks about all the thug shit and then somebody snatches chain off and he's like, yeah, I don't know what to do about this. Like I
Oh,
wasn't.
no, I actually think that one's funny. It's now it's not funny when it be like the not rapper. Like when like if somebody snatched like Logic's chain,
Yeah, you can't
that's
do a lot of that. Yeah,
that would not be funny to me. Like that would be horrible.
it's the shit that we're warning Ja against, essentially.
Yeah, that one feels sad too. That one wasn't. It was funny at first, and I was like, ah, now it's sad.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
think the way that I described it is so the one guy on the podcast, Tyrese said that nigga get locked up at a porn convention. Like he doing a
he
lot.
does.
He doing a lot. No, he said he would. Like the
Okay,
guy like he's like yeah, you doing too much.
he's going crazy.
Relax.
Yeah, what's that
But
nigga? And why was Candy there?
I think it's Candy's show. So then that's like so then
Oh,
once again we have this weird dichotomy of like these like there's a guy walling out or
yeah,
and there's a woman who is able to do something about it and just kikis
yeah.
and then
And then it was not a good look for
we
Candy.
have Home Depot girl and it's like well she posted this shit and then it was just women and then guys went in and went too far and now it's kind of like well you shouldn't say shit and it's like but the Suki shit is just is the way I describe it is uh we're still trying to get full cooperation with rape culture, period.
Yeah,
We're trying to get guys to understand that women don't owe you shit. I ain't gonna lie, because I decided to do the work early, or when the download first dropped, when we first got the update, I went ahead and hit update. Um, I'm kind of abreast to these things, but if you were a guy that thought Bill Cosby was, trying to buy NBC and that's why the shit happened to him, then it's gonna take you a little bit of time. Um, so um, women don't have the time to wait for y'all to figure it out. So it's
they're
on
getting
us,
assaulted in that time.
you know,
Like,
and and that's the thing. It's like so OnlyFans booms, 2020. They shut shit down. Women got to get back to selling coochie to make ends meet because the world shut down. If I could have sold dick pics, I would have. Um, but that's not a market that's booming like that. I don't think girls want to see guy feet. So they had to do what they had to do to get bread, and not all of them did, but a lot of women did go into that industry.
yeah.
Those were new rules. They did the dick rates and all that shit. So now you
Oh
can inbox
yeah.
them dick pics with $7 and they'll give you a rating and all this extra shit. Women are like it's just so it's all this stuff is so complicated and I feel so bad for Suki and women in general, but all this shit is like this shit is like looking at this shit on his face is wild. If you're somebody that isn't able to, categorize things appropriately, then on one hand you got women telling you don't send unsolicited dick pics. On the other hand, you got women telling you send it, just send me $5 too. Um, so if the lines were blurred before all of this even happened, they're fucking like the spot is literally blind at this point. So we know that, and it's not to give any sort of pass to anybody because shit like that is just wrong. She's not shooting OnlyFans content right now. Like she's not shooting that with you. So that's not an appropriate conversation for y'all interview. Um, and YK Osiris, she's not. I don't know y'all relationship, but even if this is how y'all get down, she at work. So
And it
it's
didn't
not how
look
you get
good.
down.
You know, it didn't look good on camera.
It
It
just
looked bad.
it just does not like it. All these situations just don't read well. So I get that there may be some confusion as to what is and isn't appropriate anymore because y'all were slow to come around to just understanding women can be horny and still say no. Women can think you're attractive and still say no. Women can be quote unquote hoes and still say no.
Yeah, they
Y'all,
still have agency.
y'all are slow to all of these concepts. So then you throw in sex work into it, and sex workers have historically not been represented well, and historically not have had that agency. I mean, I haven't done the research, but I know at a certain point you could get off of a fatal car accident by saying you were drunk.
Yeah,
So I'm assuming you could probably get away with some rapes by saying she's a hoe.
yeah,
Um, so all of these things that we're trying to correct and right the wrongs is just going to take some time, and it's just not fair to continue to ask women to wait. It's the same thing that James Baldwin asked the white man. It's like, how much time do you want for the progress? It took my people time. It took they people time. Like, so it's almost coming up on 10 years post the Hannibal Buress, Bill Cosby shit, and we all get, a crash course on what rape culture is, and everything like that. It's almost been 10 years. We gotta start making some strides, fellas. Like, I ain't gonna come down hard on y'all. Like, y'all really need to be coming down hard on. Like, y'all gotta chill out with this shit, low key. But like, the time is up on the progress. Y'all need to get it together. Like, if you see shit like that, and you see your man's doing shit like that to women, hold them accountable. Like, you might lose a friend. Hold them accountable. Fuck it. You don't want that friend no way. If that's how you treat women,
no,
you don't want that friend. So I'm here to say I understand that you do not understand. I understand that that is something that's a hard concept for you to grasp. Whether you grasp it or not, don't do that shit to no fucking body. But you need to start grasping it if you're gonna be here and out here with everybody. If you're gonna be a part of the society with everybody, kicking it and engaging with everybody,
yeah,
you have to understand it. And it don't matter. It's the same rules for the girls that's in school taking care of whatever. That's got these 6-figure dented. All these girls, whatever these girls that don't want y'all anyway because y'all keep fucking complaining about them on the fucking podcast and shit. All those girls, the same rules apply for them as the same rules that apply for the girls like Suki that y'all don't think shit about because they got chest tats and they busting it open and they got, it's the same rules. No matter the
question:
occupation, no matter how they look, it's the same rules.
Are
Respect.
are men that threatened by Suki? Because I've seen that. Oh, Suki kind of does the same shit. So why is it weird that it's done to her? And I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen her do like that.
And whether she does or not, I don't know because I don't pay attention to her. But that is and the thing is, I say I know she don't. Because it would come across the TL. Because
Yeah,
it's no way y'all niggas would let the shit ride
yeah,
without calling out the double standard of, well, she do it to this. Like I've seen now the resurgence of the video where she was twerking on a little boy. So, somebody tried to use that as, well, why y'all coming to the defense of somebody that would do something like this? Because she's still a person, and people who are wrong also deserve respect.
yeah.
People who have done wrong deserve respect. But once again, we play into the idea that once a person makes a mistake, once a person does some shit we don't like, once a person makes a decision that we don't agree with or we don't understand, we throw them away and we say, fuck them. Whatever happens, happens. Oh, fucking well. You
Sheesh.
earned it. And that's just not the way to be. If she decides to be a rapping sex worker and that's her career, you're the guy's footing the bill. So it's not the time to be like, well, shit, that's what she talk about. It's not the time for that. It's the time to say, hey, you can imagine that shit with a goddamn VR machine with a 3500 Apple shit. You know what I'm saying? You pay 3500 for the Apple, and then you can
Go
pay
crazy.
$20 for the OnlyFans, And you could go, you know what I'm saying? You go get your lubes and whatever else you got to get. There's plenty of toys now. There's just there's not as many toys as there are for girls, but there's a lot of toys out there for us now.
Yeah, they're booming up.
And go ahead and go get you and have a good time with the VR set. It's immersive, and you can run wild. It's gonna cost you It's gonna cost you some money, but as we spoke about last episode, they was dropping the fees. So if you got it, you can pay for it. Don't just walk up to the lady and do that. That's a person. At the end of the day, that's a person. So, it's different from, how wild it is that comedians don't like when people be like, hey, bro, tell me some jokes, be funny. And they're like, that's not, bro, I'm just out here like trying to eat dinner. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's the same concept, except this one is like, you're actually like breaking a law and like robbing somebody of their agency and do like it's, we don't ask people to do shit that they do while they not doing the shit that they do. Like, if she's gonna engage in that with you, I need to have that pre-set up. And if there's a fee associated with such things, you should pay it.
And money is not spent any better than on coochie anyways, if we're just being 1,000%.
That's what we work for anyway.
I never bought it, but I mean, maybe I bought it indirectly. There's a possibility, I guess.
There's a line of thought. There's a whole group of people that have that line of thought where it's like, well, you paying for it either way. You tricking off either way. You tricking off with your husband. You tricking off with your wife. So
think of the last $100 you guys spent, and think about how much joy it brought you, and then think about like Gucci. Like compare those two things.
The going rate is like 60, honestly. Like, but once again, it's criminalized. So y'all can't pay for the shit. So now it's a whole criminal underworld as opposed to just legalizing the shit and taxing the fuck out of it and doing whatever you got to do. And then you can regulate it and put some safety protocols in for people so that if some shit go left, she can call the cops and say,
that's what weed is. Everything's prohibition. Everything's prohibition.
That's all it is, guys. It's not real. It's none of it. I hate to break it to you. None of this shit's real. It's all just made up from repressed ass people trying to control you motherfuckers. Y'all take the bait now, every time.
Don't go down the rabbit hole like I do when I just start thinking about every day. It'll keep you up at night, like what's not real and what's real.
So the Matrix is out.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, there's that. It was above his time. Now, which one of these? Because I know there was conversation. It seems like you sometimes you have some really compelling things on the timeline. I will just say this, just to get this out of the way. Congratulations to the Nuggets. Thank you for beating my Miami Heat. That's enough for you guys. But
you guys get Dame now.
God, please.
Still on the board.
Hero and Robinson right out of their contracts will match up. We'll go from there. Now, I think you were talking about the no album or single is charted in 2023.
Yeah, I really should have pulled that off because it ain't shit to talk about. It really is not like nobody dropped.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and they showed a picture of it was Drake and who was Drake with?
It was like Drake and Future or Drake and somebody. It's just like that's not.
I was like, yeah, they haven't dropped.
Nobody dropped. So if the heaviest hitter to drop, Tyler Creator dropped the deluxe of his album that came out last year. So Lil Yachty dropped a good album, but it's Lil Yachty. He's not ever gonna rise to number one unless it's some wild shit. And then I think like Gumbo, Young Nudie, Jack dropped his. So there were some that came out, but it's not no heavy hitters that's supposed to just automatically go to number one. Jack could have went number one, but his album was boom bap, so it's not gonna go to number one.
And he didn't promo it or anything.
And he's still not promo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like he did the local artist shit where he dropped the album, and then a week later it'd be like, well, it do what it do. Like there's no promotion behind it anymore. There's not any more press around it. So that was really like a nothing burger. It was something that was interesting, I guess, because damn, since 1993. But when you look at it and you see that nobody dropped,
yeah,
it makes complete sense. Beyonce is touring an album that came out last
year. Yeah,
everything came out last year. So I guess it's surprising that Metro Boomin album ain't hit. The Spider-Man album ain't do that, but it might. So it just came out, so we got some time on that.
Soundtracks are weird. or
Yeah,
music inspired by. I think that's probably why uh American Gangster still seems to be criminally underrated
that shit
because
is wild.
because it's inspired by the movie. It's not.
That's some of Diddy best producer.
It's really really good. Good J bars, good music.
Oh yeah,
It's just good, and I think that's why it almost doesn't even feel like it's a part of the discography. It feels like on some novelty shit.
it does.
Like, but it's just. And it was like in that weird time where it's like, is he retired? Isn't he retired? I think Kingdom Come came out first.
Right before, and then this came like that. Kingdom Come was '06. This was like '07.
And then I don't think anything came out until Blueprint 3, which was like
Oh
the
wait, oh
end of
I,
my high
I like
school.
yeah,
Yeah.
'09 type shit. And then like '09 into 10. But it was all
Yeah. So it was weird, but I mean, like revisiting it as an adult, it's like, oh no, this is
oh shit.
crazy.
I should like we're 30. We should re-listen to Kingdom Come and see if it hits different.
Yeah. I actually liked it when I first heard it, but the reason why, because at the time I got a gift of the Black Album.
mm.
So so actually before, obviously this came out after, but I got the Black Album as a gift. And I think that came out, I think I was in fifth grade or sixth grade. And I remember listening to it. And it literally sounds, and it's weird now in the like where it fits in his career, but it sounds like the end.
It does.
Like every song feels like the end, and then my first song is like so emotional,
That shit
and
slapped out.
it's great. It's amazing. And I remember listening to it and I was like 10. And I remember being like, this is when music was really starting to like touch me for real. And I was like, he's so good. Why would he quit? Like I was literally thinking it was making me upset. Like he's so good at this. Why would he be done? There's no way he could be done. And it was great. And I even understood it at 10 or 11. Like this guy is different. Like everything else I've listened to has been good. So this guy is different. And so at that point, when he came back, then I was like, oh shit, well, I'm gonna listen to everything this guy raps because I don't know when the next time I'll hear him again. And then he kept going at that point. But yeah,
And I mean the
that Kingdom
post
Come was cool.
retirement, post retirement discography is actually kind of lit.
Yeah,
It's actually pretty fucking good.
Watch the Throne is in there.
Yeah,
I remember Twitter. I remember being on midnight buying it, and you see the trending topics change with the album because people are all listening to it at the same time, and you could just see the track list
yeah.
pushing other shit out. And I'm like, everyone's listening to this shit at the same time,
It was
and
amazing.
it was ridiculously good. Obviously, going back on it, it's really Ye featuring Hove, but great Hove bars,
Yay, Carey.
amazing Ye bars. It's just like just rap in these spots where I'm done. Oh,
They did the same formula with a written testimony with Jay Electronica shit. And hey man, there's some gold in that. There's some gold in that album, y'all. The album
yeah,
ain't go gold, but there's some
yeah,
gold in that motherfucking album.
yeah. What else is in that discography? There's
Of, of
Blueprint 3, which was cool. Um, Magna Carta,
which was
which was
that we didn't like
cool.
it, and the thing is, we didn't like Magna Carta because, of course, it was like perfect Blueprint
The
3.
Samsung shit.
But it was
Yeah,
the Samsung shit. It's like, oh, it's just preloaded on our phone, like it was that thing. It was like
it was
it was too much. It was too commercial.
glossy. It was
Too commercial.
glossy.
But that
Yeah.
shit, he got some bars on that motherfucker, bro.
Yo,
He rapping on that bitch. The shit Heaven with him.
Beach is better. Like I was obsessed. Like this is around the time I'm first starting to make beats, and I'm like so obsessed with
I'm
Mike
gonna
Will.
listen to this shit
Like
all day tomorrow. That's
like
crazy.
everything Mike Will did, I was like, he was putting shit in the flanger. He was taking shit underwater. Like he was
Bruh.
doing all this fly shit. And then when I heard Beach is better, and I had this sub in my car at the time, I had these 12s,
Why you
and I
not
just
ready?
and I just
Oh
remember
my
like, what the
god.
fuck is this nigga lost it?
And the thing, like, I think that was the first time because at this point I hadn't gone back on Jay's discography, so I hadn't like post or pre Blueprint. I hadn't listened to anything pre Blueprint at that point in my life, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
What
like,
year is this?
this is 14, I think
Okay.
14. So I think like outside of singles, I know the singles, but outside I haven't like actually done the work of listening to the albums. My dad's like he's not into rap. So I got to rely on cousins, and my cousins was listening to Juvenile. So,
This shit.
yeah, so I didn't realize how braggadocious this nigga was, how like wavy this nigga was. I didn't know the flow. Like I know Jay for being like just technician and shit. So when he's like talking about, for as long as you took, you better look like Halle Berry or Beyonce, like it's just like, nah, bro, he's starting a little too hard for me, bro. The hey, suck a nigga, whatever you are. I thought about your shit while I was like. He told the niggas your last shit ain't better than my first shit. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was like 21, 22 at the time. And this was right when I like kind of started rapping for real and started making my own music. And I'm just like, I mean, there's just no way I'm finna catch this nigga. Like, it's just no way. Like I scratched being the best at this shit off. Nigga, this shit not happening. Like,
I went back and did the listen to it around 2012. I was like 19, and I went at that time. I hadn't heard Blueprint back. Or no, I hadn't heard. Well, bits and pieces of Blueprint, probably all, but I don't know if I really listened to it. I literally started at the beginning and went through, and so I go there to Black Album, and I was like, oh, he was actually really this good for
the,
forever.
like the whole fucking time. This shit is crazy to me. Like,
He's that good then.
and that's literally why I prefaced it because I was like, at the time I didn't know. Like I felt
Yeah,
like Pharrell with the Kanye, I didn't know.
yeah.
I thought it was just it. I didn't know. So and like I'm always into my cool guy shit. Like I just like cool shit. Like I don't need the technical like the cliche lyrical miracle shit. I don't need it. Like I'm cool at it. I just rather you be as cool
Atomically.
just be as cool as possible. And Jay-Z is just like the coolest motherfucker. Like of course you got Ye, but that's why like one of my favorite rappers is Pharrell. Like I don't give a fuck about like this shit cool, nigga. This shit cool and the song good. So that's all I care about. I don't give a fuck about the actual skill that's not weighted as high. Like technical skill, can you say this many syllables? Like I don't give a fuck about that shit. Is the song good? Is it cool? And Jay-Z be fucking getting all the cool points. On a lot of these. The songs don't be good all the time. But that nigga be cool every fucking single
He's
time.
the coolest. He's the
So
coolest. I aspire to be that cool when I'm 50.
So and then and like this, like once again, now he's got this shit where he's just wearing suits and fucking hoodies and beanies and shit, and it's just like, bro, I can't. I'm bald. Like I'm never gonna have dreads hanging out the bottom of my beanie. Like I'm not. It's certain levels of cool. I just gotta look at other niggas for. And
Yeah, I kind of was thinking when he got the dreads, I was like, man, that'd be cool if I had some under the hat.
and it's like, okay, I guess I'm working on the Jordan tequila eyes, but like other than that, like I don't fuck, like, I don't. Who do I got? Who do I got? Who do I look up to? Like to be like, okay, I'm gonna be as cool as this motherfucker. Everybody got all their hair still. I'm
He
already.
said said he had the baddest chick in the game wearing his chain.
He said that shit when I was 9 years old, and it pissed me the fuck off. Cause literally, I would have nightmares, and only way I make myself go to sleep. I never told anybody this before. I make myself go to sleep. And this is pre, like, handling my business. But I'm like 9 years old, and I would have like nightmares. I would have like these things. I'd be like, heavy thoughts, heavy thoughts, heavy thoughts. Beyonce, Beyonce, Beyonce. And I just go to sleep. And this nigga's talking about he's got the fight. Like, that's not, don't talk about her like that.
I told my mom when I was 11 that I was going to marry Beyonce.
So I'm saying,
So,
like that was the first time. I guess that Beyonce was the first time my parents, maybe the first and only time that I know of, that my parents clashed about like, I guess my sexuality. I hung up the Survivor post. I had I asked for the Survivor. Back in the day, you could like had these like subscriptions where you'd pay 99 cents per CD, and you would get hella CDs for 99
Yeah.
cents each or whatever. So, my dad it was 5 of us in the house. He would go through and get everybody. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? So I wanted the Survivor, the Destiny's Child Survivor album. I didn't know it came with them in a pinup in the bikinis. I didn't know that. But once I
They
opened
was
it,
looking nice too.
once I opened it and I saw it, that's going on the wall. So I put it on the wall. My mom walked in the room. She tore it down. She's like, "You let her put this up in the room. You do it." Of course, it's like 2000, so I'm 7. And it's like, yeah, mom. Like, me and Beyonce have grown. So anytime I hear Jay-Z talk about Beyonce in such a man, oh my God, like Drunk in Love and what's the one song where she's talking about some cigars on ice and she got water, daddy, did he bring a towel? I'm like, oh my God, oh no.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me, and this is what I'll leave you with. I love Beyonce because she made giving head in a car cool.
It worked for me. So thank you.
Yeah. I'll tell you this: if they
destigmatized it.
yeah, because that was one of those things where it's like, yo, this would be dope, and then Beyonce threw the ooh, and she was like, yo, this is what we doing on the way to the venue.
Oddly,
I was like,
oddly enough, there has been on the other side of that there has been a switch in which several men have joined the, no offense, Eat the Cake anime club. So seems like this couple is really ruling the way that we view sex and everything like that.
And she
very influential couple.
She told y'all to leave y'all niggas, and then she told y'all to take them back.
Take them back. I ain't taking the Red Lobster.
Niggas always talk about the first half of Lemonade. They don't never talk about the second half.
Don't talk about the second half.
The first half, you going crazy. The second half, she was like, you know what? He's a good dad.
I got him. He fucked up.
Kind of reminds me of my dad at some point. A little bit. Yo, and they had Matthew in the bleeds too. I was like, that wasn't the bleeds. And I was like, compared to where Tina was, that's the bleeds.
That's the bleeds, bruh.
Like, that ain't where I'm sitting. I'm in the bleeds. But where he was sitting as the creator, there's no way he's sitting there.
Oh, man.
He's supposed to be with his grandkids and his son-in-law down in the box.
Nope.
Seen random people down there. Matt was up there. So, listen, I don't know. Anyways, I guess that wraps it up for episode 14. Please follow, please like, please share it. And when you do share it, I know you be doing that cool thing where you share it with, like, it has the 2 names. I don't know how that works, but if you share another one and it's me, put it to me, because I know that gets it out more, because it's on 2 timelines.
Gotcha.
So y'all need to see the clips. I need to listen to the shit.
So we get some motherfucking sponsorships.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Liquor or something, or socks. I love socks.
Love a good sock. All right, man. Well, hope you enjoyed your birthday, bro. Welcome to the 30 Club.
Here, guys.
Have more festivities. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Enjoy yourself, bro. You earned it.